Tonight, the city of Lagos once agog as all routes.
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west, and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV,
a 24-hour news station.
Hi, it's a great day. Good morning to you wherever you are watching Core TV News. This is Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, and I welcome you on board a fresh edition of the program Core Digest. This 12th of August, International Youth Day. Once again, happy International Youth Day to you. By my definition, everyone is a youth. Everyone is a youth because you're as young as you can imagine, you're as young as you think. Just stay young at heart and you remain a youth for life. Very quickly, success is the only justifiable reason for existence. The only reason any one of us can justify being here is succeeding at being here. Winning is everything, not only for the feeling it brings, but also for the value it adds. Winning adds value at the end of the day to you yourself and then to others around you who are stakeholders in your winning. And that's why we want to look at something that borders around winning this Tuesday morning on Core Digest. I'm Tolu Ojewumi. This morning on Core Digest, we want to have a look at the just concluded OSUN governorship election. OSUN 2014, again, still in the news, very much so. INEC'S scorecard, OSUN 2014, INEC'S scorecard. Being the umpire, it's important for us to have this look, not a cursory look, but a detailed look, as it were, on INEC's performance vis-a-vis this election. INEC did it in Ekiti, 21st of June, and then 9th of August, it did it again in OSUN. How far so far, and how well so far? My guest is Bosun Shifowora, public affairs analyst. Hi, Bosun. Good morning.
Good to join you.
You look very relaxed.
Very much.
The way I like it. When I grow up, I want to be like you. I like your tie.
Thank you.
And the bling bling too.
Thank you very much.
I can see you're all smiles. The way most people are all smiles in OSUN at the moment.
Well, I guess everything went well. I mean, all is well that ends well. So that's the story in OSUN, as it is. And fine. And I guess so many lessons have been learned from the Ekiti event. So I guess everybody was up and doing for this one. And, well, it was fair enough. I mean, it's a much better thing than we saw in Ekiti, and it shows that INEC is actually improving. In fact, I spoke with one of the local observers, a friend of mine, and he said that that morning that he visited about 32 or 35 polling units.
The local observer lives there?
No. He's a friend in Lagos, but he
lives in Lagos, but when?
Yeah, he went to cover the election. He's a private person,
yeah,
so he said that he visited about 35 polling units, and it was only in two polling units that he saw that materials came late, electoral materials came late, and it was just about maybe an hour delay.
Wow.
And I mean, that's novel. I mean, in the history of elections and electioneering in Nigeria, you find that, you know, you have cases of materials coming almost in the evening and things like that. But by and large, everything actually went well. There was so much transparency. Everybody was watching it on TV. I mean, those of us who were not in the Ekiti, we saw all the channels were there, and it was fair enough.
Fair enough. So you want to give INEC what pass mark?
Good.
Good.
Maybe not very good, but good.
Good. Maybe not very good, but good. So what percentage are we looking at?
You know, they say that the largest room in the world is the room for improvement.
Improvement, yeah.
There's always room for improvement, but for the OSUN thing, it went absolutely well. You know,
you don't want to name a figure. From
percentage?
from 0 to 100.
Maybe 65.
65, that's
give
good,
them a
right?
B.
A B?
Yeah.
Okay. 65% a B. Someone came on this show recently and gave INEC 60 from 60 to 69. So still within the same range.
It's still a B, really. Because, well, there were a few misgivings here and there. But by and large, they've tried. They tried.
Now you're giving INEC a good, not a very good. What could have made up for the difference? What could have made you give INEC a very good?
Yeah, you know this issue of permanent voters card,
The
and everybody getting it on time. It's still, if something is very good, that means 100%. All right. So, and if you still have complaints here and there, then it shows that they're still lagging behind in one or two areas, and that's not 100% thing. It's not bad. Bad is bad, and good is good. But primarily they tried. Great stuff.
Okay. Now,
comparatively speaking, I mean, we've known INEC. We've seen all kinds of things.
I see. Now, the PVC you mentioned, you know, there was a very funny allegation earlier, just in the run-up to the election, that INEC was deliberately denying some people belonging to a particular political party the opportunity of obtaining the PVC. How on earth could that happen?
Those are allegations, mere allegations. I'm a lawyer.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking
you.
you.
Tell you
was that real or just
he that alleges must prove. So we never had substantive or substantial proof from the guys who said that. But well, you know, I heard the complaints were from the APC people prior to the election, but now that they won, I mean, nobody's talking about that again. Most times it's always the party that lost that will come and complain, "Ah, this went well." I was reading the papers this morning and they said Umishore said that the election was fraudulent. It was, you know, I don't know, like maybe a few PDP stalwarts too had complaints about it. But in Ekiti, it was a different song they were singing. So when you lose, you shall look for something to say.
Yes, we'll come back to the Ekiti election as a parallel to that of OSUN. But you see, I want us to have maybe a cursory look at INEC as a system on its own, generally speaking.
An institution.
Maybe, yes, an institution, because one of the problems that we have in Nigeria, one of the challenges we face in this country is having confidence in our systems, in our institutions. And I don't know where to blame that. I do not really like passing the buck, playing the blame game, but I do not know where to put the responsibility. Maybe at the doorstep of the government, or those who are running our institutions, some of them appointed by the government anyway, or maybe on individuals' doorsteps. I don't know, really. So I need you to look at, let's have a cursory look at INEC as a body, as an institution. What's your appraisal? Not on this election, as a body on its own.
Well, if we
with or without elections.
If we want to talk about that, well, we'll have to look at them vis-a-vis elections because that's basically what
the primary
responsibility.
Okay.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll still talk about some other angles. But if you look at the history of INEC, if we start from maybe the recent past, you know, we've had issues where elections have been upturned by the courts, and you know, like a particular region. I mean, we had the whole Southwest thing. It was, you know, largely dominated by the progressives. Then, before you know it, some other people took over, and they cried wolf. And at the end of the day, you find that they all went to court, and practically all the elections, you know. So when you have that, then there's a tendency for you to start thinking, why? Where all your elections are being, you know, overturned by the courts, then something fundamental actually, maybe with one or two. In other climes, the courts are there for the common man to go and complain, right? So, but where practically, I mean, you did 10 and 9 were thrown away for misconduct, irregularities here and there, palpable irregularities. You know, so there's a tendency for you to feel, wow, these guys, you have issues. And, you know, then there'll be riots, but this time around, it's a different ballgame. You know, we had, an election was conducted, an incumbent lost, the same incumbent, I mean, I'm talking Ekiti now.
Ekiti.
The incumbent came. In fact, before that, the albino thing, fine. That one, you know, maybe let's say there were some teaching problems there, but the Ekiti, even the incumbent came out and said, it was okay. We put the interests of the state forward. Then this one, fine, the incumbent won now, but everybody saw that, okay, fine, this guy did a good job, and everybody, no fights, even the opponents. The first person to issue a statement was Femi Fani-Kayode, and he said, I think he was one of the principal persons there, and he talked about how they put in everything, but the election went well.
And then he said he wasn't talking for the party, he was talking as an individual.
Yeah, but it was an individual who occupied a particular position.
Yes, I know.
So, and his statement was not out of the blues. It was, he gave, then even the president congratulated the governor. And, you know, no fights apart from the funny people who clashed yesterday. But by and large, everything went well. That goes back to INEC. That, I mean, in the history of Nigeria, we've had where elections just go wrong, people fight, this, that. But now incumbents will lose, they congratulate the winner, everybody goes, shit their swords, and just go and everything moves on.
That's exactly my point. That was exactly why I needed you to have a cursory look at INEC as an institution or a system on its own. Don't you see a trend in Nigeria now where people are beginning to have more confidence in our systems?
As a result of what happens, or the result speaks for INEC. Now, you know you voted, they counted your vote. The results didn't change along the way. You know, sometimes I mean, this is Nigeria. You count something else on
Ghost
the polling station.
Ghost voting.
Ghost voting is even different. You know, you have a result here. This polling station A. Then between that polling station and the collating center, a different result comes up. There's been some magic, spiritual albeit, you know. So we don't know. But this time around, people tweet results, and you still see the same results come out. Then it shows that there's a level of transparency. There's a level of credibility which INEC has put up. And everybody reckons with that, and it's brilliant for them. And it's, so that informs the confidence and faith that people are now having in INEC.
System. Okay.
So in the institution itself, I mean, it's then you look at the people, practically all the returning officers, professors, doctors. I mean, these are intellectuals. So I think that too rubbed off on what transpired there. I mean, these are not people you go and bribe.
No vested interest.
No vested interest. As well, I think it was a VC of IFE.
Yeah.
That was the main person.
The vice chancellor of Obafemi University.
Yeah. So, and I mean, everything was there. It was, we could see it. So there was no manipulation, as it were. Maybe one or two fights here and there, the polling unit, you know, there will be all, you can't have an all 100%.
Without pockets of skirmishes.
Yes, but by and large, it's a great result. It's a great showing by INEC. And everybody appreciates INEC. And that has restored the confidence in everybody. If the election had gone a different way, you know, somehow, fine, we don't use polls in Nigeria, but, you know, fine, polls is not a hard and fast way of knowing who will win, but it gives you an understanding. If you look at the build-up to the election, you could see a large following behind the incumbent. And if things had gone the other way, it might be a bit hard to, then, you know, people saw the results. They knew they were, from the beginning, like the incumbent was an early lead. I'm not an apologist of the party, but I just, you know, everybody was following it, and it was very transparent. And that reposes confidence in an institution like INEC. That to the point where even the people who lost the election don't see, even when lawyers come and tell you, let's go and fight, don't worry. This was free, this was fair. We've had like 3 elections, and the people who lost have just gone their way, gone to mind their own business, to re-strategize. Like APC lost in Ekiti. They didn't fight, and they went to, you know, get their acts together, and they came up with a better showing too. So, and that's good, it's even, and now they're talking about 2015, that before they were down, but now they're saying 2015 was still up and about, was still going about it, you know, and it gives you a better playing field. Unlike if the result had gone against the wish of the people, then you just lose confidence in the entire thing. You know that, forget 2015, let's riot, let's do revolution, let's do this, let's do that. You know, but people are sitting now they know that, okay, fine, we have a credible body who does this thing. So let's go and map out our own strategy and let's be civil about it. So that's what I'm saying, and kudos to INEC.
Kudos to INEC. Now, but we're giving INEC kudos now. Most people are doing that. On the flip side, wouldn't we say INEC had a great showing, a great outing, June 21st in Ekiti and August 9 in OSUN, because we had staggered elections? What if it had been as massive as a 2015 general elections?
Well, yes, that on the one side. But you see, this too gave INEC, it was like a testing ground for them. And with this, we can look forward to a better showing for, maybe if there had been no staggered elections, fine, you know, everything comes at you at once. It's going to be...
You have to deploy all your resources.
Exactly. A major problem is logistics don't favor us in this country. Not enough personnel on ground and all these things. That would definitely hamper, even if you go and bring angels to conduct it. If they don't have enough angels to do the business, there will be problems.
So you accept that there will be more challenges in 2015, Frank?
Definitely.
Like what and what? You've mentioned logistics.
Majorly logistics. Because if they can deploy, there were 73,000 security personnel on ground, according to the people who were in charge.
Yeah, 30,000 police, 15,000 soldiers, and then almost 20,000 men of the DSS.
About 70,000 people. Now, if you don't have, and that went well, okay? Then there was voters' awareness too. But let's look at INEC. Voters' awareness on the part of the parties, and you know, enlightening their people on how to go about things. But let's just put that aside. What I'm trying to say is that if they do, that helped in making everything go well and smooth. But if you don't have the same kind of personnel for the entire country, you cannot expect the same kind of result. We're not saying it's going to tilt or it's going to be diametrically opposite what went well. But if you don't have the same resources, it's going to be hard to manage. That's the thing. But that does not mean that things won't go well. I mean, they did a general election before, and it wasn't totally bad. Maybe not as good as this. These are isolated cases, but I feel they've learned from this, and they grow. I told you that the personnel in charge at INEC are great people, people of integrity, and they think. So they know that, okay, if we could do this like this, then let's see how we can spread our resources, then so that we can get something, even if it's not, maybe even better than this, or at least something. Then they built a standard too. Yeah. They won't want to come down. So they'll know that, okay, then they have enough time between now and then to determine what to do. So if we had 70,000, you know, security personnel on ground in one state and it went well, then let's look at how many thousands we have. Then how many thousands can go around. Then some people complain that there were too many securities on ground too. So then they know how to divide it. So that's it. I don't see trouble. But I think with proper planning, INEC would definitely get its acts right. And 2015 might just be, you know, we had this thing before that, hey, it might go like this, it might go like that. But with the showings and with proper thinking and proper planning, I think it will go well.
Proper thinking, proper planning. If you just joined us, you're watching Core Digest Tuesday edition. And indeed, I must repeat that is a International Youth Day edition of Core Digest on Core TV News here in Lagos, Nigeria. We're having a look at, shall we call it postmortem, of the OSUN election. 2014, INEC'S performance, 2014, OSUN 2014, INEC'S scorecard. That is what we're having a look at this morning. Bosun Ojifora is my guest, legal practitioner, public affairs analyst. Now, Bosun, since you mentioned it, let's have a look at it. Voter education by INEC. How did it go?
I think the sensitization came more from the parties than the INEC. INEC did its best. They, you know, they were on local stations telling people what to do, appealing to them to be calm and peaceful and how to go about things. But, you know, I have to mention the parties now. APC believes that Southwest is their domain. So when they lost Ekiti, they knew that if they should lose OSUN, that practically will mark the end of APC.
So very quickly, is it still their domain? Is Southwest still their domain?
With the performance on Saturday, there's that was a silver lining. It gave them hope. In fact, all they sang, all the stalwarts of the parties were like, this is hope in the air.
Okay, carry on, carry on.
And that's it. So they believe that fine. So what I was saying was that they had to go and sit down. I was on a program, I think it was Nifemi, it was Judicial.
Okay, my colleague, yeah,
programs,
okay, yeah.
And,
Judiciary Today.
Judiciary Today, and I told him when he was asking me that APC was going to court with, you know, some, what I saw were frivolous things, you know, and I'm like, except they have a lawyer that is not going to take money from them, you know. I mean, there are too many SANs in the parties, you know. But if you're going to pay and go to court with this, then forget it. The best thing you could do, you have more states left. Okay, you don't want that to go and sit down and strategize. And I think they did that well. And that informed, you know, the voters' sensitization. Because you find that they were up and about, they had a one-on-one, they had like a town hall thing, they went everywhere. So it gave INEC less to do when it comes to voters. It wasn't like INEC didn't do anything, but the parties actually went to the people, taught them what to do.
So there was a concerted effort
from all parties. And that really helped, you know, in mitigating problems that, you know, were common to previous elections. So that happened. But I think it was a concerted effort. And it's supposed to be like that, really. You don't leave everything to INEC to do. It's not INEC that are going to tell your people where to vote. They won't tell you vote APC or vote PD. INEC will just tell you this is where you put your hand, make sure it doesn't spill, then this is how you conduct yourself, this is what you do. I think Professor Jega came up earlier too, that people should not snap, you know, ballot boxes. You know, they came up with, I heard that, I mean, prior to that and prior to the election day, they were telling them, okay, don't do certain things. You know, everybody now, with all the smartphones, everybody feels like a journalist. You know, so I almost taking the job away from
No,
you.
they're not. They're not. You know what they're doing? You know what they're doing? They're helping us. They're doing what we call citizen journalism. In citizen journalism, you're allowed to take on stories yourself, cover stories, and you send to us. Then we verify the authenticity of such stories, and then we publish.
Yeah. So, but I think by and large, the voter sensitization was all-inclusive, and that also helped the peaceful turnout of the event. So.
Oh, that's fine. Now, we won't lose focus this morning. We will move away from INEC. No but problem. Since you mentioned it too, I'd like to visit it a little. A cursory look again, and that is the idea of claiming territories by a political party, saying, okay, a particular part of the country belongs to party A, and then that other part of the country belongs to party B, and all of that. I want us to have a balance here. Now, we've had myriads of guests on this station, on this show, and other shows here, and different submissions, different strokes for different folks. Some have submitted that, well, the era of voting for a party, particular political party, has gone in Nigeria, that the electorate now focus on individuals and the charisma, credibility, transparency, track record, and pedigree of such individuals. What's your take on this?
Yes and no. The individual counts.
Okay.
The individual counts, but we're still primitive. Seriously,
That's not a very nice word to use for. Well, but it's right though. You're right.
I mean, I'm talking comparatively now. You want to look at elections in Australia, in America, in the UK.
I see. Okay.
Comparatively speaking,
yeah, very primitive. Yeah,
we're crawling. All right. So people that's even abroad too, people still vote parties.
Still have their challenges.
All right. The party still has something to do. I mean, if you look at the UK, there was a recent election to the European Parliament where this guy's party, Farage, Okay. But it's a new guy. They've been around for a while. But, you know, everybody got disgusted with the way the Labour and the other guys, I mean, the incumbents are doing things. And they just went for this guy who felt, come, the problem of UK is all those immigrants. And the guy is an anti-immigrant person. And they just voted for, that's the agenda of the party. It wasn't particularly the guy, but it was more of the party's agenda. So, I mean, if people in such crimes can still vote along party lines, then it's not a crime doing that here. So but coming down to individual performance, if you look at, for example, Ekiti, Fahmi, great guy, intellectual, but I think he got it wrong somewhere. I mean, I've been there, I saw great developments. Fine, I never knew what was on ground before that time, but it was what I saw there was very brilliant, very okay, very good. And they said, fine, before he never used to be like this. But people voted him out on something very small. I think majorly the catastrophe or the point was the teachers' reform.
Okay, teachers' reform.
Didn't go down well. Okay. Not very much the infrastructure of the stomach. It was the teachers' reform.
Very great again. Not stomach structure now, but teachers' reform voted out Fahmi Ekiti. We'll take a break for news on the hour. When we come back, Bosun is still very much around, and then we can continue with our topic, OSUN 2014 INEC'S scorecard. Stay with us.
You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then News. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.